today we're going to go over how I organize and prioritize my nutrition. I want to start this off by saying there are thousands of ways to organize and prioritize your nutrition. There's so many ways you can eat to be healthier, perform better, look better. This is just how I do it. I found it to be extremely effective and it's helped lots of people. So we'll go into it. If we look over here, we're going to start with this graph we have, okay? If this is 0 and this is 100%, all these building blocks build up to 100%. As you can see, the bottom part here is calories. The most important part of your diet is how much calories you're consuming. If your goal is to gain weight, we need to be eating more than we're burning throughout the day. If your goal is to lose weight, we need to be eating less than we're burning every single day, okay? So if we look at that, calories, just by looking at this chart, again, there's no absolutes here, but calories are going to make up at least 50% to 60% of importance here. The next step are macros. What are those calories made out of? Is it a protein? Is it a carb? Is it a fat? And what does that mean? And we'll go over that in a second as we break this funnel down a little bit later. Okay, following that is micronutrients. So that's the nutrient quality. Nutrient quality is extremely important with the way you feel and perform. But as far as body composition goes, calories and macros are going to be way more important than the quality of the food. Okay? Timing, nutrient timing, there's limited research to show that that's effective. And then we see supplements at this top part. Supplements are really that top 5 to 10% of your actual performance. So again, I don't really care what you're taking here. If this and this and this are not taken in consideration and they're at maximum level, you're not going to get the most effectiveness out of your supplements. The only supplement that I really recommend people having is a protein supplement if you don't eat enough meat. If you enjoy eating meat, eat meat, don't drink shakes. There's no nutritional value that's going to be more in a shake, which is a processed food, than there would be in a chicken breast. All right, so now we're going to go down the funnel, okay? So if this is the most important thing, we have to calculate that first, okay? So calories, again, we have to be burning more than we are eating if our goal is to lose weight. If our goal is to gain weight, we need to be eating more calories. A healthy amount of weight loss or weight gain, just change in general, is 1% of your total body weight, okay? For most of us, that's going to be 1 to 2 pounds per week. If I'm a 200-pound male, my goal of losing 2 pounds a week is sustainable, and it also falls within that 1% of a weight change per week, okay? Any more than that, it's not going to be sustainable. If we're losing more than 2 pounds a week, a lot of that's not going to be coming from fat. A lot of that will be coming from muscle. The rate at which we lose weight can be related to the type of weight we're losing. Make sense? Good. Okay, so ultimately, the best way to calculate how many calories are going to be right for you is to do a log. Mine would be to download MyFitnessPal, eat like you normally would eat for a week, take the average of that, and weigh yourself before that week started, in the middle of the week, and at the end of the week, and let's see that weight change. Did you have any weight change? If you didn't, great, that's going to be your starting point. If you did have a huge weight change and you gain a lot of weight, then we need to back off that a little bit if your goal is to maintain or lose weight. So once we've found that ideal amount of calories, which would be your maintenance level, which maintenance level means you're not gaining weight or you're not losing weight, we can add or subtract about 500 calories to start your increase or decrease. If your goal is to gain weight, we're going to add 500 calories. If your goal is to lose weight, we're going to subtract 500 calories. The reason for that is we believe that 3,500 calories is equivalent to a pound of fat. Okay, or a pound of tissue. Okay, so if I'm trying to gain a pound of muscle, I need to eat 3,500 calories. Divide that by 7 gives you 500. 500 per day, 7 days a week gets you to that 3,500. Same thing with the fat mass. If I don't want to go through that whole log process, which I recommend you doing, if you don't want to do that, an easy way for you to start off is the Harris-Benedict equation. You can find this online. This takes into consideration your body weight, your height, your activity level, and your age, and it'll give you a suggested amount of calories that you're burning throughout the day. My calories burned through this equation is about 3,000. If you have like a Fitbit, sometimes those will give you estimates as well. But know those are an estimate. You're never going to get a true actual energy intake or energy burn throughout the day unless you're like wearing a gas mask all day, which like a VO2 mask that kind of allows us to make better equations. But even then, like that's not going to be the most accurate way. There's no way to really determine exactly how many calories you're burning unless you were underwater or dead. Boom. Okay, so once we have determined the total amount of calories that we need throughout the day, then we move on to step 2, and that's calculating the protein. We calculate the protein first because it's pretty standard. For me, I don't have it changed throughout a diet. There is some research to show that having a little bit more protein in your diet can help with fat loss. But in general, this is a general recommendation that I use for the majority of the people that I work with. Okay, so 1 gram per pound of lean body mass or body weight. The reason we do this is because we want to fuel the lean tissue. So I'm 200 pounds and my lean mass is probably close to 175. So I'm going to probably dose my protein. I'm going to have 175 grams of protein. A typical, the traditional bodybuilding route is 1 gram per pound of body weight. If we look at nutritional recommendations, some people even go to the point of 0.08 per grams per kilogram, which would be 2.2 of body weight. So that would be almost half a gram per pound of body weight. So I like to stick it a little bit higher. I enjoy eating protein. The only thing is that it is expensive, right? So when it comes down to it, we try to stick with 1 gram. Anything more than that, for me, will give me it makes it harder for me to digest my food, and it just adds up money onto my grocery bill. All right, once we've calculated the proteins, the next step that I take into consideration is we're going to calculate your carbs. Okay, we calculate this on a few things. Energy levels are going to be the primary thing that I use to calculate this off of, right? Based off of how hard your workout is, you should be consuming enough calories to replenish what you're burning. If you have an off day, you essentially could go very little carbohydrates. But if you have a really hard training session, and the hard training session is fueled by glucose, or what we call glycogen, stored energy within the muscles that is from glucose, we want to replenish that glycogen by eating more carbohydrate. So on my easy training days, I would recommend eating 0.5 to 1 gram per pound of body mass. So I'm 200 pounds. On a light training session, that would be 100 to 200 grams of carbs. On a hard training session, since I'm doing more activity, that would be anywhere from 300 to 400 grams per pound of body mass. Okay? And this is body mass, this is not lean body mass. So I start there, and then you can also take into consideration age. As you get older, it does become harder for your body to use carbohydrate and break it down. Younger people tend to break down carbohydrate a lot more efficiently and effectively. Okay? So I've got these two numbers calculated. Now I'm going to go into the fats. Okay? Before I get down to fats, it really does come down to personal preference on how much carbs and how much fat you like. A lot of people nowadays really do like the high fat, and that's totally fine. There's plenty of studies to show that a ketogenic diet versus a calorie controlled, so say both groups are eating 2,000 calories, I'm just throwing this number out there. One group is doing a ketogenic only, so high fat, moderate to low protein, no carbohydrate. The other group is eating a well-balanced diet, having some carbohydrate in it. Both groups had similar weight loss, okay? Same thing goes into fasting. It's more about controlling the total calories, right? Calories, macros come second. But if we can control both of those calories, it's really whatever personal preference, what makes you feel better. It doesn't have to be, I have to eat carbohydrates because I'm exercising this amount. This is what I suggest, but really it comes down back to balance and what you like to do. Okay, so once I've calculated carbs, I'm coming down to fats. Whatever calories I have left remaining, I'm going to divide by 9 because there are 9 calories per gram of fat. There are 4 for protein, there's 4 for carbs, right? Once I've calculated, added both of those up, the calories that I have remaining, I'm going to divide by 9, and that's going to be the total amount of fats that I have. If you're gaining weight, you're going to tend to have more fat. If you're losing weight, you'll tend to have a little bit lower fat. And that again can change based off of how much carbs you select. Okay? The big thing here is never go below 10% of your body weight in fat. You do need fat to help with cell membranes. You need them just for cellular functioning, health. I mean, a lot of times when I see females that go into having like the female triad and missing periods and stuff like that, a lot of times they're not eating enough calories in general, but they're also having very low fat content, especially for females. This is extremely important. Don't try to cut fat out completely. If you are eating meat regularly, you'll probably get enough fat in there. If you're just eating chicken breast, you may do supplement with some fat, but nuts, seeds, avocados, all those are great things. And our carbs, we didn't mention these, but my favorite carb sources are going to be oats, potatoes, and rice. Very easy to digest carbohydrates. Okay? So boom, that's kind of the basic, simple version of everything in here. But the most important thing with all of this is the best nutritional plan you could ever have is going to be something that you can stick with forever, right? We don't want to look at dieting and nutrition as what can I get done in a month? Where can my body weight be down in a month? I want to see, okay, where can I be in a year? Where can I be in 10 years, right? We want to keep this 1 to 2 pounds per week and then continue that, right? And it's good to take breaks. Just like we program for strength training, maybe we have a hypertrophy phase where we're loading a lot, where we have a lot of high reps, and then we go into a phase where we have lower reps and we work on strength. We should try to think about the same periodization model with nutrition. There should be a time every single year where your goal is not to change weight, and you should just maintain. When you're maintaining, you can focus on performance. You can let your body reset. Then, once you could do that for a month. After you've done that maintenance phase for a month, then you can look at manipulating your calories again. There's so many ways to go about nutrition. This is how I found it to be the most effective. If you guys have any questions, please shoot me a message. With all of your programs through Effective Fitness Programming, you will get a nutritional guideline sent to you, and any of the additional products and creation stuff that we make will be included in that membership. All right, guys, thank y'all and have a good day.